Hi everyone, I'm Manisha, the founder of Modulo, and today's video is about how to teach your children English even if you don't speak or write or read English well yourself. So the great news is that one of the most powerful things that you can teach your child is how to learn. You might not know how to speak English very well, you might not know all the rules of grammar, and you might not even think you're a very good teacher. But you do know how to learn things, and so if you can learn English along with your child, you'll both inspire them to learn and help them learn English better. So I recently met a friend in Greece who was studying English, and I happened to notice that she was working from a curriculum that seemed really boring. A lot of writing things down and workbooks and kind of questions about things that she would really never have to do. And so I wanted to give her some ideas of more fun and engaging ways that she could learn English and learn English along with her kids. So the first suggestion I want to give you when you're learning English is to get speaking and to get writing in English. And one of the best ways that you can do this is to watch videos in English, but not with the subtitles of your original language. Watch the subtitles in English. So as you hear people speaking English, you can look down and see the words. And I recommend that you do this with a notebook. So for example, if someone is speaking and they say a word like grapefruit, and you might not know that grapefruit is a delicious pink fruit. So you can actually, in your little notebook, write down the word grapefruit. And maybe in the movie, they held up a grapefruit in the scene. And so you were able to identify that this word, this thing that they were holding, was a grapefruit. And then when you write it down, that's a new word that you can add to your vocabulary. And I suggest writing down maybe 10 new words a day. Don't overdo it. And then every night before you go to sleep, you can review these words. The other thing that's really helpful when you're watching any type of video in English is to repeat. Be like a parrot. As soon as someone says a word, just start saying it aloud. You'll notice that little children, when they're acquiring language, often repeat things and sometimes come up with really hilarious sentences talking about things they know nothing about. So I'm going to just give you an example of this first technique in how I use it. So we're going to choose, this is a really fun video series on YouTube called Art for Kids Hub, and usually I use this series to teach American kids or Australian kids how to do art, but we can use it to do art and to do English. So let's say, for example, your children would like to learn how to draw. What would be funny? A bunny. Let's do the Easter bunny. So you can choose, it's really nice to engage your children by giving them a simple choice, like what video do you want to start with? So let's say that they choose the bunny.
Draw an Easter bunny holding a basket. I hope you're going to follow along with me. Let's get started. Before we start, I want to give you a quick preview of how our Easter bunny turned out all finished. I hope you're really excited to follow along with me. For this lesson, I'm using a pencil and an eraser to first draw the main shapes of our bunny and also the basket. Then I switched to markers to draw with and color, but you can use whatever you have. I'm also drawing on marker paper. That makes the markers last a lot longer and also protects our table from the markers bleeding through the paper. This lesson is perfect for artists of all ages. It is a little more advanced because we're using our pencil first, but we take it one step at a time. All right, let's get started. Let's use our pencil first to draw the main shapes.
If you want, and say, let's get started. What does the word started mean? And then maybe we might look up the word started in our dictionary and just try to repeat stuff that he says as he goes along while you're doing this fun drawing lesson. And if he says something that you don't understand, you can look it up together and learn. And then maybe later at dinner, you can talk about that new word that you learned. So this is the first step. Watch a video. Make sure that the subtitles are in English. If you're not quite sure how to do that in your home country or settings, it's a very easy thing to Google. How do I put English subtitles on a movie on YouTube? And then just make sure that you're always having the English subtitles playing. If you watch something on your TV, just always try to get English subtitles all the time, especially, and watch lots of movies in English and then repeat back what people say. So that's my first and biggest suggestion. I think you're really going to start learning how to speak and also how to listen really well in English. Of course, you probably are still going to need more support learning how to write and read and learn grammar. And so that's where I suggest, instead of using a curriculum that's designed for a non-native speaker, what we often refer to as an ESL or English as a second language, or if you're not living in an English speaking country, it might be a foreign language app or a foreign language class. Instead, learn English the same way that Americans or Australians or US children, native English speakers, would learn English. And so I'm going to recommend 2 fun apps for you. The first one that I really enjoy, I just signed up for, is called BrainPop Junior. So I'm just going to share my screen with you. This is BrainPop Junior. And when we get to BrainPop Junior, I've already done the whole login process. I am going to select reading and writing. Okay, so and you'll also notice I'm just going to go back here. With my settings, set it to kindergarten, the easiest setting. And if your child's English language skills are a little more advanced, you could choose a more advanced setting. So we're going to choose reading and writing. And then I'm just going to pick the first lesson here. This is just teaching about rhyming words. So we're going to click on this cat. And I also want you to note here that you can turn the sound on or off if you want them to speak the instructions. So the first thing that we usually do, we go down to this button and we watch the movie. Okay, so as you can see, they already have the subtitles. And I recommend, just as much as you need, pausing this video as you go along. You can repeat after Moby can leap. Moby can leap. Just be a parrot, repeat, repeat, repeat. Okay, so then after you've done this entire lesson, we're going to skip forward a little bit. And note here, with the settings, you can make it go slower. So if it's going too fast for you, you can slow it down, and that can be really helpful. I always recommend that you learn at your own pace to learn in a more thorough way. So there's a couple different exercises you can do. You can take an easy quiz, start the easy quiz, and just take your time reading this together. You can push on this button to have them read it aloud.
The mouse sat in
a mouse, and take your time repeating. Maybe you don't know the word the mouse. Look that up. Write it in your little book. And then you guess together. So you'll ask your child what they think the answer might be, and you can see what your answer might be, and then you can guess together. So BrainPop Junior is just a really fun way to start learning English together. And what's great is that maybe this is going to be too hard for you, but you can do the lessons over and over and again until you really deeply understand the concept. And there's lots of different ways to support you as you're doing this. They have this immersive reader feature where it actually shows, here I'll just show you. So it's actually highlighting the word that they're reading as they go, which can be a big support as well. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to recommend to you is called Khan Academy Kids. Khan Academy Kids is a really fun app that's designed by Khan Academy. It's totally free. And Khan Academy Kids just has a lot of fun videos and, again, English language lessons for really young kids. So you can download the Khan Academy Kids on your phone and just start playing with your kid. Learn along with them when they see you get stuck, and then push forward and have perseverance in learning a new language. That's so incredibly valuable to them, because when they see you persevering, they learn that's the behavior that a person brings when they get stuck. They move forward. And if they see mom or dad getting stuck and getting frustrated and choosing to continue, then the next time they get stuck or frustrated, they're going to do the same thing. You can talk about each of the lessons, you can engage, and you can have fun learning together. So this is Khan Academy Kids. We're just going to share, they also have a YouTube channel. So one of the things you can do is just pick any lesson on their channel. They have playlists, so you could focus on English language arts or really learn any topic. And why don't we pick shapes? Because shapes is definitely a fun thing to learn that you can start applying in your own life as you see shapes around the house. So here's an example of a And again, we have these captions on.
Hey! A circle is one.
I'm being a parrot, and I'm pausing as much as I need. Okay, I'm going to read this. A circle is one line that goes all the way around. Maybe you don't know the word around. You write that down. Corners. Maybe you could stop and say, hey, kids, do you know what corners are? What do you guess that corners might be? So if you are confused about something, asking a question aloud inspires your kids to ask the same questions. And it's okay if your kids don't have an answer to the question. What's important is that questions get kids thinking. Okay. So you're getting the sense of the videos, how to speak while you're watching them, how to take advantage of the captions. So I hope that this video has been helpful for you. Once again, what I want to say is the great way to learn a different language is to watch a video with subtitles, speak aloud as you're watching it. BrainPop Junior is a really fun app that you can use to just start learning reading and writing the way someone who's a native English speaker might learn reading and writing. And I think even as an outsider, you might get a sense of the grammar even better than an English language student because you don't already have these preconceived notions about how the language works. You can really approach it like a mathematician or a scientist. And then one last tip I do want to offer is find a pen pal, a speaking pal. When I was studying French, I think I had gone all the way through 12th grade French, and I didn't even really feel like I knew how to write or read or speak that well. And then I met a young woman in Turkey who was at the French high school in Turkey, and we started writing to each other. I would write in French, she would reply in English, and vice versa. Or we would switch it up and only write in French for a while, back and forth to each other. And my French skills improved considerably that year because I was so focused on communication. So if you're looking for someone who you could exchange language with, first of all, just drop a comment here and we're happy to help introduce you to somebody. And otherwise, there are just so many different online forums of parents who are either expats or in their home country looking to learn a foreign language, and you can just pop in and say, hey, does someone want to do a weekly FaceTime with my kid? If you could do that consistently and you have that friendship, which gives you an emotional connection to the language, you're going to improve so much. Because if you worry too much about being a perfectionist, it can be very, very slow in actually getting to a level where you're able to communicate. But if you're just thinking about how can I best communicate, you're going to be amazed at how resourceful you naturally are in finding words and vocabulary and eventually even grammar to express yourself well. I hope this video has been helpful for you, and if you take away nothing else, just remember that while you might not be good at English, while you might not be a great teacher, you do know how to learn, and your child loves you, and they're so influenced by the actions you take in your life and the attitude that you have in your life. So if you can learn along with your child and show them your humility and bravery in diving into something new and invite them to join you together in learning, they are going to learn so fast and they are going to do so well. I'm excited to hear how this goes for you. Feel free to drop any questions or comments, and I'm happy to respond, and enjoy learning English with your child.